Dana James Jim Hutton, May 31, 1934 – June 2, 1979, was an American actor in film and television, best remembered for his role as Ellery Queen in the 1970s TV series of the same name and his screen partnership with Paula Prentiss in 5 films, starting with Where the Boys Are. He is the father of actor Timothy Hutton. Early life and career. Hutton was born in Binghamton, New York, the son of Helen and Thomas R. Hutton, an editor and managing editor of the Binghamton Press. Hutton's parents divorced while he was an infant, and he never knew his father. Hutton was expelled from 5 high schools due to behavior problems but had excellent grades and test scores. After starting his school newspaper's sports column, he earned a scholarship in journalism from Syracuse University. He was expelled from Syracuse after driving a bulldozer through a bed of tulips. Hutton then enrolled at Niagara University, where he began pursuing an acting career. Hutton served in the United States Army and starred in over 40 Army training films before going to Berlin to serve in special service. Hutton personally founded the American Community Theater by spearheading the renovation of theaters abandoned during World War II. He established the first English-speaking theater in Berlin. Hutton was performing in live theater in Germany while with the United States Army when he was spotted by American film director Douglas Sirk. Sirk used him in a small role in a film and secured him the promise of a contract with Universal Studios. When Hutton got out of the Army, the contract expired, but he was eventually signed to a long-term contract with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Career. Films. One of his earliest screen appearances was in an episode of The Twilight Zone, 1959, in which he co-starred with Rod Taylor. In Hollywood, he gained recognition with teen audiences for his role in the college student film Where the Boys Are, 1960, where he appeared with Paula Prentiss, an actress with whom he would be teamed in several of his early films, in part because they were the tallest MGM contract players of their time. Hutton at 6 feet 5 inches and Prentiss at 5 feet 10 inches. He appeared with Prentiss in The Honeymoon Machine late in 1960, followed by 1961's Bachelor in Paradise starring Bob Hope and Lana Turner, and finally The Horizontal Lieutenant in 1962. In 1966, Hutton gained a wider audience in Walk, Don't Run with Samantha Eggar and Cary Grant. In Grant's last feature film appearance, due to his tall, gangly frame and the absent-minded quality of his delivery, Hutton was viewed as a successor to James Stewart. In addition to being a gifted comedic actor, Hutton also took on dramatic roles. Although he had some serious scenes in Sam Peckinpah's 1965 western Major Dundee, there were recurring humorous scenes throughout the first half of the film portraying his character as an ineffectual officer. He returned to more straight comedic roles in 1965's The Hallelujah Trail, also starring in 1967's Who's Minding the Mint. In 1968, Hutton appeared in the John Wayne war drama, The Green Berets, in which Hutton played a Special Forces sergeant in a mix of comedy and drama, with a memorable booby trap death scene. Also in 1968, Hutton appeared with John Wayne in Hill Fighters, playing the role of Greg Parker. The movie was loosely based on the career of oil well firefighter Red Adair. One of his last leading roles was in the cult horror film Psychic Killer, 1975, which was directed by Ray Danton. Television. In the early 1970s, Hutton began working almost exclusively in television and played fictional amateur detective Ellery Queen in the 1975 made-for-television movie and 1975 1976 television series, Ellery Queen. Hutton's co-star in the series Set in 1946, 1947 New York City, was David Wayne, who portrayed his widowed father, an NYPD homicide detective. Ellery, a writer of murder mysteries, assisted his father as an amateur, each week solving an actual murder case. Near the end of each story, before revealing the solution, he would break the fourth wall by giving the audience a brief review of the clues and asking if they had solved the mystery. One of Hutton's memorable television appearances was appearing as a guest star in the 1977 1978 third season premiere of the Norman Lear sitcom One Day at a Time. The episode, titled The Older Man, was a four-part story arc in which Hutton portrayed Drive Paul Curran, a 42-year-old veterinarian who falls in love with 17-year-old Julie Cooper, played by Mackenzie Phillips. His last television role was in an unsold pilot called Butterflies based on the BBC Two sitcom. It was broadcast on NBC in August 1979, about 2 months after Hutton had died. Personal life edit. Hutton was married to Mary Line Adams, née Paul, who was a teacher. They divorced in 1963. They had 2 children, a daughter, Heidi, born 1959, and a son, Timothy, born 1960. Timothy also became an actor and appeared with his father in a summer stock production of Harvey. In 1970, he married Linnie Solomon, and they had daughter Punch Hutton, former deputy fashion editor of Vanity Fair. Hutton also had an intermittent 15-year relationship with actress and model Yvette Vickers. Death edit. On June 2, 1979, Jim Hutton died in Los Angeles of liver cancer, just 2 days after his 45th birthday. 2 years later, Hutton's son Timothy dedicated his 1981 Academy Award, which he had won for his role in the movie Ordinary People, to his father. Filmography edit. A Time to Love in A Time to Die, 1958. Hirschland, 10 Seconds to Hell, 1959. Workmen at Bomb Site, uncredited. The Subterraneans, 1960. Adam Morad, Where the Boys Are, 1960. T.V. Thompson, The Honeymoon Machine, 1961. Jason Eldridge, Bachelor in Paradise, 1961. Larry Delavigne, The Horizontal Lieutenant, 1962. Second Lt. Merle Y. Period of Adjustment, 1962. George Haverstick, Sunday in New York, 1963. Man in Rowboat with Radio, uncredited. Looking for Love, 1964. Paul Davis, Major Dundee, 1965. Lieutenant Graham, The Hallelujah Trail, 1965. Captain Paul Slater, Never Too Late, 1965. Charlie Clinton, The Trouble with Angels, 1966. Mr. Petrie, uncredited. Walk, Don't Run, 1966. Steve Davis, Who's Minding the Mint, 1967. Harry Lucas, The Green Berets, 1968. Sergeant Peterson, Hill Fighters, 1968. Greg Parker, Psychic Killer, 1975. Arnold James Masters, edit. Jim Hutton at the Internet Movie Database. Jim Hutton at Find a Grave,